Hello all, my name is Sujin George and welcome to this lecture series of engineering mechanics. Today we will be learning a very important law, that is law of parallelogram of forces. So what is the application of this law of parallelogram of forces? It is used to determine the resultant of two forces acting at a point having the same sense. Now here one important term is there, that is the resultant. Now resultant of a system of forces may be defined as a single force which has the same effect as the system of forces acting on the body. Like for example, if there are several forces, this is one force, this is another force, this is third force, this is fourth force. So this is suppose F1, F2, F3 and F4. So this is actually a point from where all the four forces are passing. So we can call this as a concurrent force system because it is passing through one single point. Now if a force is drawn which has the same effect as all the four forces has on the same body, so this force can be called as the resultant R. R is actually the resultant. Fine. So we have to find the resultant, and the resultant could be found out by the law of parallelogram of forces. What is resultant actually? It is a single force which has the same effect as the system of forces acting on a particular body. Like here these two forces are acting at this point. Okay, so through this point, if a single force is created which has the same effect as all the four forces, then that is called as the resultant. Okay. Now, as far as the law of parallelogram of forces is concerned, the statement goes as follows. If two forces acting at a point be represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then their resultant is represented in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram passing through that point. Now let us understand the statement of law of parallelogram of forces. It is saying that two forces acting at a point, suppose this is one force and this is the other force. Now these two forces, it is saying it is acting at a point. Be represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram. Like for example, if these are two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then their resultant is represented in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram passing through that point. Now if we need to construct a parallelogram, so we will have to make a line parallel to this line and another line parallel to this line. Fine. So these two lines has been made parallel to each of the adjacent sides and it is intersecting at this point. Let us call this as parallelogram OACB. And if two forces acting at a point, these are two forces, let us say that this is force P and this is force Q, then their resultant is represented in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram. Means the diagonal of the parallelogram will be this. This is the diagonal of the parallelogram and passing through that point, means it is passing through the same point O. So let us say that this is the resultant R of these two forces P and Q. Means this resultant R will have the same effect which combined of both the forces P and Q. Clear? So this is what the parallelogram of forces, law of parallelogram of forces states. Now let us find the value for this resultant R. Let us from this point C, let us draw a line perpendicular to this OA produced. So let this intersect at this point D. Let the angle between the two forces, let angle between the two forces P and Q be alpha, means this angle, let this be represented as alpha. So if this angle is given as alpha, so obviously this angle should be also alpha, because these both these angles are corresponding angles. So if this angle is alpha, this angle should also be equal to alpha. Now here if we consider this as this is actually the parallelogram OACB. So if this is Q, this should also be equal to Q, because opposite sides of a parallelogram will be parallel and equal. Also if this is P, this should also be P. So let us consider this also as P. Now let us consider this triangle ACD. Consider triangle ACD. So in this triangle ACD, it is actually a right angle over here. Triangle ACD is a right angle over here, and this angle is given as alpha. So if we consider cos alpha is what? Cos alpha is adjacent upon hypotenuse. So here adjacent is AD and hypotenuse is AC. That is AC is given as Q. So AD upon Q. So we will get AD is equal to Q cos alpha. Similarly, sin alpha will be what? Sin alpha will be opposite upon hypotenuse. Here opposite is CD and hypotenuse is AC, but AC is given as Q. AC is given as Q. So the CD will be equal to Q sin alpha. Now if we consider this triangle, consider triangle OCD. Again OCD is a right angle triangle. OCD is also a right angle triangle. So in a right angle triangle, we can apply Pythagoras theorem. What will be the Pythagoras theorem? It will be OC square is equal to OD square plus CD square. But here OD can be written as OA plus AD, OA plus AD whole square plus CD square, because this OD, total OD is equal to OA plus AD. Now this value OA is given as P and this AD is given as Q cos alpha. Also this CD is given as Q sin alpha. So simply substituting these values, we will get also this OC. OC is represented by this resultant R. So we can write this as R square is equal to OA is P, that is P, and AD is given as Q cos alpha plus Q cos alpha whole square plus CD is given as Q sin alpha. So this will be Q sin alpha square. Now if you open the bracket, we will get, this will become, this is actually A plus B whole square. So A plus B whole square is A square plus twice AB plus B square. So this can be written as p square plus 2pq cos alpha plus q square cos square alpha plus this will become q square sin square alpha. Now again rearranging these terms, we will get p square plus 2pq cos alpha plus q square into cos square alpha plus sin square alpha. But we know that cos square alpha plus sin square alpha is equal to 1. So this can be written as p square plus 2pq cos alpha plus q square. But this all this is equal to r square. So if we substitute, if under root of square is given to the whole equation, then this will be written as r will be equal to square root of p square plus 2pq cos alpha plus q square. Okay, and this is actually the magnitude of the resultant. This is the magnitude of resultant. Fine. Here P is this force, Q is this force, and alpha, this alpha is the angle between P and Q. Now, if we need to find the direction of this resultant with respect to the horizontal. So, if suppose this is the horizontal and the angle between the resultant and the horizontal is given as theta. Theta is actually the angle made by the resultant with OA, with the horizontal. So, this theta, it can be denoted as, from this, tan theta will be opposite upon adjacent, that is CD upon OD, CD upon OD. But here OD is OA plus AD. So this will be CD upon OA plus AD. Now OA is what? OA is P and AD is Q cos alpha and CD is Q sin alpha. So simply substituting, we will get tan theta is equal to Q sin alpha upon P plus Q cos alpha. Or if we need to find the direction theta, angle theta, then this can be written as theta is equal to tan inverse of Q sin alpha upon P plus Q cos alpha. So this is the direction of the resultant. This theta is actually the direction of resultant. Now, two cases may arise. First case is if both the forces P and Q, they both are equal to each other. Like here these two forces are there, P and Q. If both P and Q are equal to each other, then what will happen? Resultant is actually given as R is equal to P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos alpha. Now here if both P is equal to Q, then we will get P square plus P square plus 2 into P cos alpha, because P is equal to Q. So we are in place of Q we are substituting it by P. So this can be written as 2P square plus 2P square cos alpha. If we take 2P square common, 2p square common. So this will be 1 plus cos alpha. If 2p square is taken common, this will become 1 plus cos alpha. Now we know that 1 plus cos alpha, this 1 plus cos alpha can be written as 2 cos square alpha by 2, 2p square into 2 cos square alpha by 2 as 1 plus cos alpha is equal to 2 cos square alpha by 2. This is actually a basic trigonometric law, trigonometric formula. So this can be written as under root of 4p square cos square alpha by 2. And if we do the square root of this, it will become 2p cos alpha by 2. Okay. So the resultant R is given as 2p cos alpha by 2 if P is equal to Q, that is both the forces, they are equal to each other. And also the angle, the direction can be given as theta. It was given as theta is equal to tan inverse of Q sin alpha upon P plus Q cos alpha. This was the formula for the direction. So if P is equal to Q, we will substitute this as tan inverse of P sin alpha upon P plus P cos alpha. Okay, we will substitute wherever Q is there, we will substitute it by P because P is equal to Q. Then this can be written as tan inverse of, if P is taken common, then it will be sin alpha upon 1 plus cos alpha. But sin alpha can be written as 2 sin alpha by 2 into cos alpha by 2. And this 1 plus cos alpha can be written as 2 cos square alpha by 2. So if we substitute these values, we will get tan inverse of 2 sin alpha by 2 into cos alpha by 2 divided by 1 plus cos alpha is 2 cos square alpha by 2. So here cos alpha by 2 gets cancelled, 2 gets cancelled. So what will remain? Tan inverse of sin alpha by 2 upon cos alpha by 2. So but sin alpha by 2 cos alpha by 2 is tan alpha by 2. This can be written as tan inverse of tan alpha by 2. And tan inverse of tan, it can be eliminated. What will remain? Ultimately, it will be alpha by 2. Hence, this theta is equal to alpha by 2 if P is equal to Q. Means theta is the direction of the resultant and alpha is the angle between both the forces P and Q. So theta will be equal to alpha by 2 if P is equal to Q. This is the first case. As far as the second case is concerned, the second case says that if P and Q are at right angles to each other. If P and Q, they both are at right angles to each other. In this case, P and Q were not at right angles. They were given at some angle alpha. But what if they are given at a right angle? Then if they are given at right angle, this angle alpha will be equal to 90 degree because P and Q will be at right angle. So angle alpha will be equal to 90 degree. So if we substitute, the resultant value was given as r is equal to under root of p square plus q square plus 2pq cos alpha. And if we substitute here, in place of alpha, if we substitute 90, then we know that cos 90 degree is 1. Cos 90 degree is 0. So this can be written as p square plus q square plus 2pq into 0. That is p square plus q square, square root of p square plus q square. Hence, r is equal to square root of p square plus q square if p and q are at right angles to each other. Also, the direction theta will be equal to tan inverse of q sin alpha upon p plus q cos alpha. Now here, as alpha is 90 degree, we will substitute 90 over here. So this will become tan inverse of q sin 90 degree upon p plus q cos 90 degree. But sin 90 degree is 1 and cos 90 degree is 0. So this can be written as theta is equal to tan inverse of q upon p. That is, if p and q are at right angles, then the direction of the resultant, that is theta, will be equal to tan inverse of q by p. So based on the law of parallelogram of forces, let us solve some problems. Two forces of magnitude 10 Newton and 8 Newton are acting at a point. If the angle between the two forces is 60 degree, determine the resultant force. 4 options are given and we have to select the correct option. Now, according to the law of parallelogram of forces, according to law of parallelogram of forces, the resultant was given as r is equal to under root of p square plus q square plus 2pq cos alpha, where alpha is the angle between p and forces p and q. Now here, two forces of magnitude 10 Newton and 8 Newton are acting at a point. So let us say that p is equal to 10 Newton and q is equal to 8 Newton. P is equal to 10 Newton and q is equal to 8 Newton, and they are acting at a point. If the angle between the two forces is 60 degree, so these are the two forces, one is P, that is P is equal to 10 Newton, and this is Q, Q is equal to 8 Newton. If the angle between the two forces is 60 degree, means here this angle alpha is given as 60 degree. So this alpha is 60 degree. So simply substituting all the values, we will get the magnitude of the resultant. So here r is equal to square root of, this will become p is 10, this will be 10 square, plus q is 8, this will be 8 square, plus twice of p into q, that is 10 into 8, into cos of alpha, that is 60 degree, into cos of 60 degree. So if we solve this, we will get the value of resultant as 15.62 Newton. So the correct option from these is option B, that is 15.62 Newton. Let us solve another problem. Two equal forces are acting at a point with an angle of 60 degree between them. If the resultant force is given as 20 root 3 Newton, find the magnitude of each force. Again, 4 options are given. We have to choose the right option. Now it is saying two equal forces are acting at a point with an angle of 60 degree. So suppose there are two forces and both the forces are equal. So let us say that this is, both the forces are equal, so let us call them as force P itself. And they are acting at an angle 60 degrees. So this angle between both the forces is given as alpha, and this alpha is 60 degrees. If the resultant force is given as 20 root 3 Newton, means the resultant R is given as 20 root 3 Newton. We have to find the magnitude of each force, means each force is equal only. So we have to find the magnitude of this force P. So when we solved the first case, that is when P is equal to Q, here the resultant formula was given as R is equal to 2P cos alpha by 2. So this R is equal to 2P cos alpha by 2. So this P can be written as, we need this P. P can be written as R upon 2 cos alpha by 2. And here we have the values now. R is 20 root 3. R is 20 root 3 upon 2 cos alpha, also we have, alpha is 60 degree. So this will be 60 degree by 2. Now if you solve this on the calculator, we will get the value as of this P as 20 Newton. So this P value comes out to 20 Newton, and the correct option is option A, that is 20 Newton. Let us solve one more numerical. The resultant of two forces when they act at right angles is 10 Newton. Means there are two forces, they are acting at right angles to each other. This is they both are acting at right angles to each other, and the resultant is given as 10 Newton. Let us say these two forces are force P and force Q. So when two forces P and Q, they act at right angle to each other, the resultant is given by this second case. If P and Q are at right angles, then the resultant R is given as square root of P square plus Q square. So R will be given as square root of P square plus Q square. But here R value is already given, that is 10 Newton. So this can be written as 10 is equal to square root of P square plus Q square. If we take if we square both the sides, we will get this as P square plus Q square is equal to 10 square. We have squared both the sides, so this will become P square plus Q square is equal to 10 square, or it can also be written as P square plus Q square is equal to 100, because 10 square means 100. Secondly, it is saying, whereas when they act at an angle of 60 degree, the resultant is root 148 Newton. Means in second case, when both the force they act at an angle of 60 degree. So here alpha is given as 60 degree, and this is P and this is suppose Q. So in this case, the resultant is root 148 Newton. So resultant R is given as root 148 Newton. But the actual formula for resultant is given as R is equal to square root of P square plus q square plus 2pq cos alpha. This is the basic formula for finding the resultant from the law of parallelogram of forces. Now here this value of resultant is root 148. So we can substitute this over here. So this will become root 148 is equal to square root of p square plus q square plus 2pq cos alpha. But here alpha is given as 60 degree. So we can write this as p square plus q square plus 2pq cos 60 degree. But we know that cos 60 degree is 1 by 2. Cos 60 degree is given as 1 by 2. So if we substitute 1 by 2 over here, we will get root 148 is equal to p square plus q square plus 2pq into 1 by 2. Now here this 2 and this 2 will get cancelled. So we will get square root of p square plus q square plus pq. Now if we square both the sides, we will get 148 is equal to p square plus q square plus pq. But from this equation we have got p square plus q square equal to 100. So if we substitute the value over here, we will get 148 is equal to this p square plus q square is equal to 100 plus pq. So this can be written as pq is equal to 148 minus 100, that is equal to 48, or this can be written as q is equal to 48 upon p. Q can be written as 48 upon p. Now if we substitute this value q is equal to 48 upon p in this equation, if we substitute this value in this equation, we will get p square plus 48 square upon p square is equal to 100. And solving this, we will get this as p to the power 4 plus 48 square is equal to 100 p square. Now if we take this value over here, p to the power 4 minus 100 p square plus 48 square. 48 square is given as 2304 is equal to 0. Now this is, let us assume, let p square be equal to x. Therefore p to the power 4 will be equal to x square. So if we substitute these values in this equation, we will get x square minus 100x plus 2304 is equal to 0. Now this value is actually a second degree or second order quadratic equation. So on solving this in the calculator, we will get the value of x as 64 or 36. The value of x comes out to 64 or 36. So but x is p square, x is given as p square. So p square is equal to 64. So we will get the value of p as 8. Also, or p square will be equal to 36. So we will get the value of p as 6. Fine. So either p is 8 or p is 6. Now if we substitute this value of p equal to 8 in this, we will get q is equal to 48 upon 8, that is equal to 6. So q will be equal to 6 if P is equal to 8. Similarly, if we substitute the value of P equal to 6 in this, we will get Q is equal to 48 upon 6, that is equal to 8. So either way, P will be 6 or Q will be 8, or P will be 8, Q will be 6. So the correct option from this will be this option D, 8 Newton and 6 Newton. So I hope you understood the law of parallelogram of forces. This law is very important as far as your engineering mechanics is concerned. We also solved 3 MCQs in this video so that it would be more clear to you. But still, if you have any doubt in this, you can comment on the chat box. Thank you so much.